Welcome back to Grammar Grade 12. I'm glad you're here. This is Unit 5, Lesson 32. We begin verb tenses, voice, and mood. It's a big unit, and everything in it rests on one small foundation that we're laying today, the principal parts of a verb. Every verb you will ever use has exactly 4 of them, and once you can name those 4, every tense in English opens up for you. We'll start with the friendliest kind of verb there is, the regular one. Let's get to it. Let's start with the whole map. Every single verb in English, the plainest one and the fanciest one alike, has 4 principal parts, just 4 forms, and every tense you will ever build comes out of them. Let's take the verb gather and lay all 4 on the table. Part 1 is the base form, gather. That's the verb as you'd find it sitting in a dictionary. Part 2 is the present participle, gathering, the base with ing hooked onto the end. Part 3 is the past, gathered. And part 4 is the past participle, gathered again. Learn those 4 forms for a verb, and you hold that entire verb in your hand. So what exactly makes a verb regular? This part is genuinely good news. A regular verb forms its past and its past participle in the very same easy way. You just add ed to the base. Take polish. The past is polished, and the past participle is polished. Take wander. The past is wandered, and the past participle is wandered. Do you notice something? For a regular verb, the past and the past participle are spelled exactly the same. 1 spelling, 2 jobs. That's the whole reason we call these verbs regular. They're predictable. Nothing to memorize, no surprises waiting for you. Just ed every time. Now, here's something people trip over constantly. 2 of the 4 parts can stand on their own in a sentence, and 2 of them simply cannot. The base and the past are independent. They gather the papers each Friday. That's the base form, working all by itself. They gathered the papers last Friday. That's the past, also standing on its own. But the participles? Those 2 always arrive with a helping verb attached. They are gathering the papers. They have gathered the papers. And notice, the helping verb is doing real work there. Am, is, are, was, and were carry the present participle, while has, have, and had carry the past participle. So hold on to this. If there's no helping verb sitting in front of it, you don't have a participle doing its job. Now, most regular verbs behave perfectly, but 3 small spelling situations come up again and again, and they're worth nailing down for good. Here's the first one. Verbs that end in a silent E. Take the verb arrange. For the present participle, you drop that E, and then you add ing, arranging, not arranging. And for the past, well, the E is already sitting right there waiting for you, so you only need to add a single D, arranged. Same story with hope, hoping and hoped. And with decide, deciding and decided. Drop the E for ing and add just a D for the past. The second spelling situation is doubling. When a 1-syllable verb ends with a single short vowel followed by a single consonant, that final consonant doubles before you add ing or ed. Listen to the verb grip. The I is short, and there's exactly 1 P on the end, so we double that P. Gripping and gripped. Same with stop, stopping and stopped. Same with plan, planning, and planned. Now, why do we bother with all that? Because the doubled letter guards the short vowel. Without it, gripped would look like griped, and that vowel would stretch out long. So the doubling isn't fussiness, it's keeping the sound honest. Third and last, the letter Y. When a verb ends in a consonant plus a Y, that Y changes to an I before ed. Worry becomes worried. Carry becomes carried. But, and this is the part that catches people out, the ing form keeps its Y right where it is. Worrying, carrying. We'd never write worriing. Two I's in a row is just not how English behaves. And here's one more wrinkle. If the Y follows a vowel instead of a consonant, then nothing changes at all. Play becomes played. Enjoy becomes enjoyed. So the rule is narrower than it first looks. Change Y to I only for the ed forms and only after a consonant. Let's fold the whole lesson down into a quick check you can run on any verb. 1. Ask which part you actually need, the base, the ing form, the past, or the past participle. 2. Is the verb regular? Then the past and the past participle are the very same word, both ending in ed. 3. If you're reaching for a participle, make sure a helping verb is sitting in front of it. And 4. Before you write the thing down, glance at that ending. Silent E, drop it before ing. Short vowel and one consonant, double it. Consonant plus Y, change the Y to an I for the ed. 4 quick moves and any regular verb falls right into line. Ready to try a few together? In this first set, I'll hand you a verb, and you either name which principal part it is, or you build the part I ask for. Pause the video and decide before I reveal each answer. The choir is rehearsing in the hall. Look closely at rehearsing. It ends in ing, and it's got the helping verb is standing right in front of it. That ing ending plus a helper is the signature of one part in particular. So rehearsing is the present participle. Give the past participle of the regular verb polish. Now, polish is regular, so both the past and the past participle just take ed. There's no silent E to drop here, no short vowel to double, and no Y to change. So the past participle of polish is polished, as in, she has polished the trophy. The hikers blank the ridge before dawn, and we want the past of wander. Notice the sentence has no helping verb anywhere in it, so we can't reach for a participle here. We need a form that stands on its own. The past of a regular verb adds ed, and wander has no tricky ending to worry about. So the answer we want is wandered. Now for the spellings. Each item asks for one form of a regular verb, and 3 spellings are offered. Only one of them is right. Pause and choose before I answer. The present participle of arrange. Well, arrange ends in a silent E, and our first spelling rule says to drop that E before you add ing. So we cross the E off and add the ending. The correct spelling is arranging. The past of grip. Say the word out loud. Grip. That's a short I followed by a single consonant, P. And that is exactly the moment when we double. So the P doubles, and then we add ed. Notice that griped with only one P is a completely different word, which is precisely why the doubling matters. And the past of worry. This verb ends in a consonant, R, plus a Y, which means the Y changes to an I before the ed. So worry turns into worried. Not worried, and certainly not worrying, because that one is the ing form, and the ing form always keeps its y. Let's gather it all up. First, every verb has 4 principal parts: the base, the present participle, the past, and the past participle. Gather, gathering, gathering, gathered. Second, a regular verb is the easy kind. It builds both its past and its past participle by adding ed, so those 2 forms match perfectly. And remember, the participles always need a helping verb in front of them, while the base and the past can stand on their own. And third, watch those 3 spellings. Drop a silent e before ing, double the final consonant after a short vowel, and change y to I after a consonant. Nail all of that, and every regular verb in English belongs to you. Next time, in Lesson 33, we meet the verbs that flatly refuse to follow the ed rule, the irregular verbs. Bring your memory along. I'll see you there.